Open weights to the lightweights, 2 races to take us up to the very civilised luncheon break here, and it is the final of the lightweight women's double sculls, which brings together the United States, Wendy Triplician and Jana here, and really interesting, the 2 women whose birthdays are 1 year and 1 day apart, and Helen Casey and Hester Goodsell for Great Britain in lane 2 from the top of your picture. In lane 3, returning to World Cup action, they were 3rd in Amsterdam, Lindsay Jennerich, and sitting in front Tracy Cameron in the stroke seat. Representing Denmark, good to see Katrin Olsen and Julian Rasmussen. They were winners in Linz, separated in Amsterdam, back for Lucerne as a partnership for Denmark. And then for Germany, this is Berit Caro and Marie-Louise Draeger. Marie-Louise Draeger, who 2 years ago was world champion in this boat class. They were 5th and 6th in the 2 World Cup regattas. And here, Magdalena Chemnitz and Ilona Mokranowska, who were also separated in Amsterdam, but are probably very happy, the Poznan duo, to be back together and really now bidding for their World Championship place and ultimately an Olympic qualifying place.
Very slow start there for the USA, Wendy Triplician and Jana here, but otherwise the 5 crews remaining got off extremely cleanly and well, and just blasting out the high rate strokes. When you lifted the boat into speed, you then got to smack it along for 5 or 10 strokes to get that boat pace up, and then you've got to reach and stretch out to try and get the length of stroke for the middle of the race, which is going to carry you through that 1,000 meters or even 1,500 before you get into the lung-busting final sprint. Focus in there on Germany. Berit Caro out of picture in the bow seat, Marie-Louise Draeger in the stroke seat in lane 5. But they've taken the sharp lead of 3/4 of a length, turning into a length with 4 boats in a row, and Great Britain, Helen Casey in the bow seat, Dr. Helen Casey, and Hester Goodsell slipping back, but only half a length on the middle 4.
And yet again, Hugh, we have to emphasise that Chen and Yu, who finished first, and their Chinese teammates Zhu Zhongjiang and Yan Ximin, who were 2nd in Amsterdam, both not here, and of course they'll be vying for that 1 boat position in the World Championships.
They certainly will. I mean, this being the Olympic class and being the year before the Olympics, all the single scullers are looking for a doubles berth that will take them to Beijing, because the lightweight women's single does not go to the Olympics. And so people are burying their differences and trying to find where the best partnership lies. We have an interesting development, which is that Germany, having gone out and taken the lead in lane 5, is now being challenged very sharply by the United States, Wendy Triplician and Jana here, who, as I pointed out at the beginning, got a relatively poor start compared with the other 5, but now have picked up some mid-race pace and coming into half a length deficit to Germany.
Yeah, it was interesting when they got the 3rd place in Amsterdam. It was their first competitive race together. What a fantastic performance for them to actually end up on the podium in that situation, and showing, or determined to show, that that was no fluke. As I said, they're both separated by this extraordinary thing of just a year and a day in their birthdays. They're both in their early 30s, so they've come to this relatively late in life. But boy, they're looking pretty effective.
Yes, I think at an age when birthdays, you don't like being reminded about your birthday. And I don't think astrology has anything to do with the fact that they are now a 1/3 of a length in front, having sculled straight through this field from the back. But they've clearly got a very, very hefty rhythm that works for the 2 of them. They're both working extremely well within it and do not look stressed at all. That's the bow seat, Wendy Triplician, now moving back onto Jana here in the stroke seat. And they've got something, this double. which we've not seen from a US lightweight double for some time.
Well, it's quite interesting because, I mean, they were down 7 seconds in terms of simple time in the semi-final times. The fastest boat in the semi-finals was the Danes, 7:03.53. So again, Wendy Trapician and Jana here really enjoying lane one, because it was from lane one that they got third place in Amsterdam. So maybe they're going to make a habit of this.
Well, they might be liking lane one. Lane one's not any different here.
No.
There was definitely a case for saying in Amsterdam that it was an advantage to be in lane one, just as it was an advantage last week to be on the Berkshire station at Henley rather than Buck station, but here it's fair.
I tell you what, lane one does give you one sort of boost here, because as they go past the boat park there, all their teammates can really shout at them, and they can very much hear that, so they will be taking all of that boost and adrenaline noise that's coming off the bankside to help them.
They are, and they will. There isn't that big a US contingent here. They tend to be a bit noisier than that when they are here in numbers. But they're stretching out, and the German double, which set off well, Berit Karau and Marie-Louise Dreger, is struggling and being pulled back into the field. Denmark on their right, Katrin Olsen, Julian Rasmussen, and Canada both pulling up on Germany, and it's Great Britain and Poland off the pace at the moment. Canada looking the sharpest of these three crews of Canada, Denmark and Germany at the moment, look like going up into bronze medal position, the silver medal position rather, with the Americans behind them a length to the good at 1500 metres with 500 metres to go.
So the final quarter now, and it is the United States who are ahead of Denmark, and that's Katrin Olsen and Julian Rasmussen. And just seeing them in picture now. Then in third place, Canada, Tracy Cameron and Lindsay Jennerich. And there's quite an interesting battle going on in that quarter there, because those two crews now, Denmark and Canada, are beginning, as a result of their tussle, to close on the Americans on the far side. And on the near side, Berit Karau and Marie-Louise Dreger trying to get back into this competition as well. And now this is becoming really fascinating, Hugh, because there's not much in this.
There's not much in it. Trapician in the bow seat of the USA double, she looks across every time. She's making calls. They're trying to respond. You can see her looking across every third or fourth stroke, but it's Canada really getting a wrinkle on now and coming through and pulling Denmark with them. Can they take the United States? Canada has taken the United States.
Canada on the near side, Denmark. And there's Denmark in the foreground, Canada, and now America still just about in second place, Denmark third, and these three pulling away from the rest.
Canada really lifting the rate now in a way that the other two crews have been unable to. They are following, but they're unable to keep up with Canada.
Yeah, and
now, still 2:50 to go.
Another call there from Tracy Cameron, who was a world gold medalist in the lightweight quad a couple of seasons ago. Really experienced, and they were third in the opening regatta, and now the counter-attack coming, and it's Canada being taken by Denmark. Denmark go across the line from Canada, and moving into third place there. Germany ahead of the United States. So all changed in the last 100 metres.
All changed in the last 100 metres. That's one of those great things about lightweight doubles. They are moving very, very close, 98% of their top speed all the time. They have little gear change, room for gear change. If you're there or thereabouts, it's very narrow, the margins, and you can